Hello, and welcome to the Of Myths and Men podcast, the inspiration to Eminem's spaghetti song. I am your host, Adam Holcomb, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Dylan Blumenberg.
The sassy shepherd struggles with syphilis. The skeleton ran out of shampoo in the shower.
Speaking of syphilis, we are happy to have special guest star Valia.
Living with syphilis isn't a joke. Get tested, kids.
VD is not for everyone.
Exactly.
Our podcast brings together three unknowledgeable individuals who spend a day pretending to be experts on mythology. Each week, we discuss a different god or creature and rotate out the lead mythologist. We will discuss its habits, its attitude, we will tell a tale, and we will end on a debate on who would win in a mythological fight club. Today's lead mythologist will be Syphilis Valia. Can you tell us a bit about the god or creature we'll be talking about today?
I can tell you everything you need to know about the god or creature we're going to talk about today. And that creature
I'm ready.
Is going to be the Strigoi, or Striga.
Is this a Russian thing?
Oh.
This is actually Romanian. Quick, Dylan, tell us something you know about Romania.
I know that vampires are from there.
That's exactly
Mary
right.
Shelley wrote Frankenstein there.
Those are the only two things Romania is known for. And I tell you what,
I thought they made really good brownies.
That's
pitchforks.
Nope. None of that is true. Just those two things you said at the beginning. Only two things Romania exports. Those two things.
Isn't it also the only country that's known to have the letters Omania in it?
That can't be true.
That's 100% fact.
Find another country with Omania in it.
Americamania. Nope, doesn't work. Does not work. All right, so
Oceania.
Fair warning. Oceania? That's a region.
Bulgaria. That's one of them.
That's close. That was close, bud. You're almost there.
You almost got it.
Give it another go.
You got Georgia.
The state or the country?
What do you think?
The state. Still no go. Try the country.
It looks like a cool place, actually. I mean, not to get totally off topic 5 minutes into this, but the episode of, it was one of those Anthony Bourdain shows, rest in peace, about Georgia looked fucking awesome.
Yeah. The country?
No, yes, the country.
Isn't it like a bloodbath there? There's like war and stuff, or did that war end?
It ended, but yes.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's probably nice now.
Anyway, there's going to be a lot of hard R's in this episode, so I'll say them once and then kind of convert to the English variants, because a lot of the stories and whatnot I have pretty hard R's in them. Like something else is hard, am I right? Up top.
Isn't the hard R for the word that you're not supposed to say when you talk about mentally challenged people?
Ruben?
Isn't that what that is?
What's the word?
What's a hard R?
A hard R.
It's like when you roll. It's like when you roll it.
It's when you roll it, right?
Is that?
Yeah.
Am I saying that wrong? Is that what it's called?
I don't know, but I knew what you meant.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
No.
Then it must be right.
I thought a hard R was just like a regular R.
Oh, I don't know.
According
like Rambo runs diagonally.
To Urban Dictionary, this is going to be a hard one to explain. A phrase referring to the words Nigga and Nigger, the latter being referred to as the hard R.
Not the hard R, I bet.
That's what it is.
There's another one of those language things where, for some reason, I still haven't picked it up. I guess it's called a rolled R, then, when you roll the R.
Yeah, I got you.
And also, to follow back, it was Season 7, Episode 5 of Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain.
He goes to Romania?
He goes to Georgia.
Okay, I got you.
The country. Because I know you're going to ask.
I don't know which one you mean every time, because he does also go to the state.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
Okay. Like if you say Atlanta, okay, I get you. But if you say Georgia...
If I'm talking about Killer Mike, which one do you think I'm talking about?
The country.
Nope.
He's famously from
state.
Tbilisi, capital of Georgia.
Wrong.
All right, let me continue here. So the Striga, right? It's another vampiric creature. Talked about vampires last week. I personally love Twilight, love Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, other vampire movies. So
Every single one of those had vampires.
exactly. So that's kind of
I
why
see
I
the
got the
string.
inspiration from it. So pretty much standard vampiric type of creature. He's this specific one rises from the dead. That's usually what they associate it with. But it can be manifested in living creatures as well. Super rare, but basically living creatures get magical properties from it, but primarily comes from the dead. They have some pretty cool abilities. They can transform into an animal, specifically an owl, even more specifically Hedwig, Harry Potter's owl.
No.
What?
Did you just say no?
That's where that came from?
Yeah, that's all they can transform into. Every single Striga can transform into Hedwig.
Is it like that type of owl or literally that
No,
owl?
just Hedwig, just that one owl. They can all transform into that one. So like when you see the movie,
that's not the worst owl.
I mean, it's a good owl. It's just kind of a servant. You're a slave. No. So
Does
is it
that
worth
mean
it?
that J.K. Rowling was an owl? I mean, wait a minute. What's the name of this thing again?
That's not at all what I meant.
Striga.
Striga.
All right. So she was a Striga?
She wasn't.
She looks kind of gaunt. I could see it.
That's a good word.
Don't sue me.
So in really rare circumstances, though, only one of them, not alive anymore, can't even do it anymore. They were able to transform into a bottlenose dolphin. Like super rare. They could transform into one. Wasn't really useful.
Is Romania landlocked?
Yep.
That's pretty useless then, huh?
It's basically, but they had the ability to.
That's probably why it died.
Yeah.
It's not
Transformed.
landlocked.
It's
Black
landlocked.
Sea.
No, it's landlocked. It's locked. Got a lock on there. You know,
Most of it is landlocked except for the part on the coast.
got a
Is that what you're trying
Kensington
to get
lock. It's tied up. No water going into Romania. No
at?
rivers.
Looks like
Go
a
on.
beautiful country.
Yeah. It's not. It's horrendous. Anyway, so one thing they like to do.
No offense to our Romanian listeners. How many do we have now, Adam? 2? 3?
342.
In Romania?
Entire population of Romania.
It's 99% of our listeners. That's why I told Valia to choose a Romanian creature.
This episode's brought to you by Visit Romania.
The Romanian government.
No one's
wants-
Dot
ever
row.
gone on that website. But somebody will eventually.
Seriously,
And
this
we'll get
landscape is tremendous.
points for it, money for it.
Yeah.
You just say that.
In all seriousness, that region in general is pretty great. If you go all the way
beautiful.
down, all those areas are pretty awesome, except Romania. Anyway,
Fuck, they have
yeah.
They have a cliff that just has a face carved into it.
I wish we had something like that.
Statue. Okay.
Yep. Something you should get on, maybe. Maybe a little project for
Episode
you.
title: Striga, Cliff Face.
This thing's creepy looking though. But go on, sorry to.
Is it just a knockoff of Mount Rushmore?
It's a fourth the size because there's only one head.
All right, so they're pretty simple creatures. They can also turn invisible, but only for 3 minutes at a time. Also, they don't retain any of their power when they're invisible. So it's literally a defense mechanism. They hide with it, like little bitches. So
Pretty good though. You can go pretty far in 3 minutes.
you can do a lot. I mean,
You can finish in 3 minutes if you hurry.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen clips of that movie, The Invisible Man. Guy
The
was
porno or the normal one?
the normal one, and he is
Oh, I haven't seen
basically a
that.
sexual deviant.
I mean, what else is that movie going to be about?
He teaches people how to read. What do you want? Could be a
The
good
being
person.
invisible part is just totally unrelated.
Yeah.
He's just a good guy.
They're self-conscious when they read normally, so he tells them how to do it, then goes invisible. They're not self-conscious. They start reading.
You put that one together pretty well.
It's because it's a fact. Anyway, they like to drain the vitality of their victims by sucking their blood, amongst other things.
That's a surprise.
Wink, wink.
What else are they sucking? Please expand.
You know what they're doing.
Let's not get into that.
All right.
It's a family show.
All right. Visit Romania, folks. So they crave flesh and blood, particularly that of infants, like our previous creature from last week. But they don't really care. Otherwise, they'll straight up just kill whoever they want. So they do originate in this part, specifically the Striga. They originate in Romania. They have that famous show on FX now. I forget what it's called. I think The Strain. I've never seen it. The creature in that show, though, is this one, which is something. They're famously not fans of the show. I don't know why.
Is it a poor attribution? Okay.
Is it
Are
what?
these things like human form?
Yeah, they're not like typically scary or anything. They're slightly frightening because they're dead, but they're not like, some creepy ass form or anything.
Because I looked them up and they look like, I don't know, like boars.
Like boars?
Yeah, they look like devil boars or
I
something.
don't know what you're searching up, guy. No, these are
Striga?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the first. It's from The Witcher, but
I or is it Y?
I didn't search for it in English. I just got the English variant of the word, so I didn't have to keep saying the rolled R. But yeah, I mean, the normal depiction of them is just the human form, and they're dead. But like the TV show, for example, has a creepy depiction of it where they kind of look like vampires. They have the long ears. They're super skinny. They have the teeth and everything. They're bald.
Are you also getting a bunch of flowers? Dylan?
Yeah, like a ton of flowers.
what are you
More
guys
flowers
searching?
than anything else.
Yeah,
Striga.
Striga.
search Strigoi. That'll get you more pictures from The Strain, that TV show. But like, yeah, common ones are just they have human forms basically,
Oh, okay, yeah, that looks really creepy.
not like a flower.
Man, some of these, the scary part is just how bad the special effects makeup is.
I told you they don't like that show. They don't like the quality.
Was this on like the Sci-Fi Channel or something?
I think it was on FX.
FX.
Oh, sure looks like it was on the Sci-Fi
Yeah,
Channel.
Guillermo del Toro is part of it.
Was he?
Dude, all right.
Created it. Yeah.
The Striga prefer watching Atlanta instead.
Good show.
Is that the Atlanta in the Georgia that is the country or the state?
Oh,
They like both.
Jesus.
They like the country knockoff because it like gets to the heart of the problem, but they like the Atlanta from Atlanta, Georgia, USA, just for the funsies.
Is that the
Gotcha.
USA that's in Georgia? Or
Atlanta, Georgia, Georgia, USA, Georgia is the one that they like.
Milky Way?
Yeah. So that doesn't explain it. Well, I don't know how to put it more simply. So I mean that's really all the information I have on the Striga. Do you have any questions?
All right. What is its favorite snack?
They like to take like cereal, any kind of cereal, leave it out for like a week so it gets stale, and then they just eat that from a bowl, no milk, just direct.
If an arrow was shot at its eye, going like 100 miles per hour, what would it do?
Probably take the hit.
It's a classic question.
Yeah, to show how tough it is. Like it would.
So how
Gotcha.
how deadly are these things?
I mean, they can kill you pretty easily because they're really, really strong. They're super fast, but they're comparable to a human still. They're way stronger than a human and faster, but they don't have any supernatural abilities apart from the invisibility part and the fact that they can suck your blood and do something with it.
And turn into Hedwig.
Yeah, the Hedwig thing really is just a party piece, I think. I think they just do it to show off. But
All right, are we good to move on to the tail now?
story time, yeah, story's pretty long too, so I figured I'd cut this quickly.
Mythology was created through an early form of storytelling, so we like to spend a little bit of time delving into the tale, a tale that involves our subject. we will be a little bit more in-depth with analyzation to better understand the story, and each week you'll be able to have a tale to bring home to tell your vampiric creature from whatever region you wish to be from. And, Valia, will you be able to tell us a little bit about our Striga?
I got a lovely little tale. So let me rattle off a name for you guys. Jure Grando Alilovic.
Oh yeah.
You know him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he lived in 1579. Okay.
We were roommates.
Oh yeah?
You don't have to tell me.
What school?
No, what?
What school did I go to, or what school did he go to?
Like, what school did he go to while you were roommates, Adam?
We were in different schools.
Yeah, what was his, though?
We weren't in dorms. His was the University of Phoenix, Wisconsin.
Nice.
Awful.
It's my alma mater. Alright, so...
I thought you were from the regular University of Phoenix.
Well, I went there too, yeah. I've done many studies.
Oh, both of them.
I've done many a study, yeah. I'm pretty... It's like if someone goes to Yale and Harvard, except this is much better.
Okay.
It's kind of like
much
that.
better focus on mythology, definitely.
Yeah, and like just general knowledge, math, science, things like that.
This is sometimes the Of Math and Men podcast.
That's true. We share the studio with those guys. Anyway.
What about
those guys just happen to be
was it?
us talking about math.
Yeah.
Of Truths and Women? They're in here on Saturdays, right?
Yeah. We are live in our Romanian studio this week. The rat problem still exists in our London
That's just Romania,
and Essex studios. What? Oh, the mouse problem?
though. The rat problem is just
Oh.
Romania in general. That's just the country.
That's why they have so many cats there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
And vampires. So
What?
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
anyway, so Jure, I'm gonna call him Grando, okay? So he lived in 1579 in Croatia. So he's basically the first person to be described as a vampire or a Striga, okay? He died in 1656, and 16 years after his death, right? He came back and he started basically terrorizing the fuck out of his village that he died in. So this included primarily, the main thing he did, he would smirk at people. They did not enjoy
Jesus.
that. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Just a real
Relax,
nasty,
buddy.
real nasty smirk. Like he would pop
So-
up in windows, mirrors.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
real quick while you're talking about this? Is there any limit to how long they can be dead before they can't come back?
No limit.
Like, you could do like thousands of years?
If you want, sure.
Man, people would be paying for this shit. Like Walt Disney, he'd be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
think.
absolutely going
Or
to screw
a
cryo
dinosaur.
sleep.
Well, let me actually
I don't
mention
think
that.
dinosaurs have, they don't pass the mirror test at them.
Because there are ways to become and prevent becoming one. So, to cut into the story here, so how to become a Striga. So, you can be born the seventh child and be the same sex as your brothers or sisters in one family. So if you're the seventh child, you're all sons. That's a way to become one. You can lead a life of sin, pretty common.
Oh, man.
Die without being married, common. If you're executed for perjury, you can become a Striga. If you commit suicide, or if you've been cursed by a witch, all rational things.
See, like, this is what I was
I
talking
could-
about last episode, where these things have, like, a moral behind them. Except for the witch part, because you can't really avoid that. But, like, you gotta get married, you gotta have kids, but only 6. Like, good morals.
That's a pretty major moral that
Yeah.
comes up.
Don't live in sin.
Yeah.
Avoid witches.
But I
if
feel
you can.
like you could successfully do all of those. Does that increase your odds of becoming a Striga? If you did all of them.
You can't do all. Well, can you do all of them? I guess. Yeah, you can be the seventh child of the same sex in a family. You can lead a life of
You could be
sin. You can die without being married, but you would have to commit
by
suicide.
committing suicide.
Yeah, you could, but then you'd have to be executed by perjury, so you can't do all of them. You'd be like one off.
What if you attempt suicide? Does
What
that
if they're
help?
trying to execute you and
You're
you
like,
just
"No."
jump off like you're gonna get hung, and you're like, "Nuh-uh, not today, folks."
It's like
You
quitting
just
a
jump
job
forward
when you
to
get
kill
fired.
yourself. Yeah.
Doesn't count.
Okay.
They're pretty strict on the rules. They have a guidebook. Not in
What
there.
about the witches?
Fair enough.
Do they have any tips for avoiding witches?
They don't have tips for avoiding witches. That's a topic for episode 100 later on.
All right,
about
we'll
that.
mark that down on the ever-growing list.
Yeah. Put that on your iCal. You got an iCal. So there's also ways to prevent becoming a Striga. This is according to many gypsies who are very knowledgeable. So if you exhume the Striga, you can prevent it from becoming like a dead person from becoming one. So basically, you exhume it, you cut its heart in two, all right? You drive a nail in its forehead, place a clove of garlic under its tongue, smear its body with fat of a pig killed on St. Ignatius Day, specifically then, and then you turn its body face down, so the Striga, if it were to ever wake up, it would be headed to the afterlife. All
That is
super normal things.
You have to do
that
all
is an
that?
extremely complicated process.
I mean, it's like 7 steps.
Yeah, I can't do things more than 4.
You can't go for it. Okay. All right, let me get back to the story now that you know how to prevent and how to become one.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you know which day is St. Ignatius Day?
Yeah, it's for like when you ignite.
What? Is that like Dr. Acula? No, it's July 31st.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know concert that day,
Oh!
actually.
typical.
If you
ignite.
got any Strigas coming up, remember it's coming up soon.
Make sure to kill your
This
pigs on that day.
Oh man, I'm gonna be out of town. I can't kill. Can you kill my pig for me,
I
Valley?
got you.
Thanks, bro.
Is it a guinea pig or a regular pig?
It's my cat actually. Just call her Swine.
Okay. All right. Let me get back to the story now, okay? So this guy, he's smirking and stuff. He's just an a-hole. So he had a widow, right, that he left when he died. He would terrorize her the most. He would, like, not by killing her or anything. He would just come and sexually assault her while also standing behind her, like, beforehand while she's looking in the mirror, freak her out. And then he would sexually assault her. So, not a good guy, okay? Not
What
cool.
a freak.
Yeah. Like,
What a
Was the
scumbag.
mirror was the mirror important? Like he liked to watch himself doing it?
yeah, he wanted to see
But
her.
could he watch himself? He's a vampire, right?
He can see
Was-
himself in the mirror, yeah.
Yeah, because that wasn't part of the It's been a while since I've said this. The Manananggal.
Almost a week.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing didn't mention anything about mirrors either. That was like the one vampire trait it didn't have.
Yeah, these have kind of evolved past that BS.
Did they have mirrors back then?
They did, because that's literally anything that makes a reflection is a mirror.
Wrong. You know how they used to make mirrors?
How?
This could totally be wrong, but they plated things with mercury.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I have heard that.
Today on How It's Made.
Did you know that the reason that supposedly vampires can't see themselves in the mirror is because mirrors used to be backed by silver, which is, as everyone knows, wards off evil. So it would be silver and then glass, and then looking into it, the silver would be what's reflecting, so the silver would kill the reflection, and that's why.
Now that is a better fact.
This one has a weakness of silver actually, but not to the sense of mirrors. Like it can see itself because it can see itself smirking.
Mm-hmm.
So it would smirk behind his widowed wife and then sexually assault her. So cool guy. But so the local priest who actually buried the guy when he died, he was going around and he found out that this guy was the dead guy. He was knocking on people's doors, and whoever's doors he would knock on, a few days later, the people in that house would die. Okay, so he kind of caught on to his game. And what he did, he caught him in the act at one point, right? So as he caught him like trying to murder these people, he attempted to pierce his heart, right? But doing so, it just bounced off, just made a little boop noise, didn't do shit, right? Guy smirks at him. He's like, "You dumb asshole, you buried me. You're an idiot." So eventually the villagers in the place had enough of this shit, right? They were not happy with this guy coming from the dead, being all whiny, all that.
Playing ding-dong ditch with people.
Exactly, and then killing them. Who does that? Uncool. Not cool, whatever. So they go to his grave, right? They dig this asshole up, right? So what they do, they found him perfectly preserved in his grave. This is 16 years after his death. Remember that? He has a big smirk on his face, okay? Like he just finished watching Max Keeble's Big Move on VHS, right? Just grinning.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie, look it up. 7 out of 10 on IMDb, right?
So, what was it called?
Max Keeble's Big Move.
Right. Dude, it's got a 4.5 out of 10. This thing must be a piece of shit. It's got what's
why
his
was
name
he?
from
Why
Malcolm in
was
the
he
Middle in there.
smiling?
He was just an asshole. That's what I'm telling you. So his dead body is just smiling ear to ear. Just saw Max Keeble's Big Move. So they tried piercing him with a bunch of objects, but each time it failed. It would just bounce off him. Couldn't do shit. He's still smiling. So finally, one of the villagers, a few days later, he was like, all right, I'm sick of this bullshit. So he takes a saw to his head and cuts his head off. Okay?
His own head or the
Cuts the vampire's head off, right?
Okay.
And this time it actually works. So once the skin tore, he just starts screaming. Okay, no more smirk. He's just whining. And he's basically dead now. The village is peaceful. By the way, this was a real guy. This vampire Yure, he's a real dude. He had kids who reportedly moved to Italy at some point. I'm guessing to get away from this totally true thing that happened to his family, and people were hunting his kids on most likely, like, because they were idiots then. Okay.
Understandable.
Yeah, so there's a ton of references to this guy in Croatia, which is pretty great. Like, there's a bar, for tourists to visit, there's like gyms, even a short film. And my favorite of the references to him, which is modern day, they've had scientists actually research, like, and examine some of the folklore regarding this, like waste time and money researching vampiric people in the 1500s to make sure that, yep, this was a thing. So,
This guy actually existed?
yeah, but and he definitely 100% full on was an actual vampire because they exist.
That's nuts. This must be our This must be our first true myth.
Yep. He's a real person. He's a real vampire. Did all those things like waking from the dead with the smirk on his face. And watching Max Keeble's Big Move. Yeah. So let me just run through real quick. Story time is done there. That was the tale. I just want to run through the strengths and weaknesses. So he's super fast, strong, some shape-shifting. Like I told you, he can turn into Hedwig. And that's basically it. He's a really, really, really strong human. Stronger than any other human, basically, and really fast. Standard weaknesses for a vampiric type of creature: sunlight, silver, but only if you pierce with silver. Neck break, decapitation, so you can decapa its tate if you'd like. And one other issue it has is it can actually be controlled by a master. I couldn't find any masters, but if you know of
Even
one,
better.
they can control it. So you can like
Master Roshi.
yeah, Master Roshi can take it on, and it can. So with that idea, it can they're kind of dumb, so it can be like lured into traps and whatnot. So there's a list of weaknesses, and just remember, sponsored by Max Keeble's Big Move.
Did you say salt anywhere on that list?
No salt.
Can I ask a quick question?
Hit me.
How did what was his name? Yonder.
Jure. Jure.
Okay, Yuri. How was he? Did you say how he turned into one? Which one of the things from earlier?
Nope. No specifics on how it happened. Just that he definitely was Striga, and definitely did all those things 16 years after he died.
Why
He's
16?
also it can't have been the died without getting married one, but because he was married, right?
Yeah, he was married and he had kids. So he had kids. I mean, he could have very well lived in sin. He could have been the 7th child of the same sex. He wasn't executed for perjury, but he could have committed suicide. I don't know.
Gotcha.
And he could have been cursed by a witch. So there's
So-
options.
With this seventh child situation, is it like the second this child is born that it's a Striga?
It can be.
No, it would have to be.
It's super rare where they can be a human and have the qualities of it, but usually it's when they die. So when that seventh child dies, it becomes Striga.
What does that say about the parents? Do they get like exiled or anything if they're still alive?
I think it says, we don't believe in your bullshit. Yeah. But there's actually like recent people that have like driven stakes into dead people's hearts. And like 2004, there was a family who dug up some dead dude and full on murdered it. So, yeah.
What the
How do you
fuck?
murder a dead dude?
You kill it again, Adam.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Do you remember that movie, that show? I can't remember the name of it. 18 Kids and Counting? The first 7 were all men. Seventh one, Striga.
Oh, good God. One of the things people love to debate about is who would win in a fight. Max Keeble or
The older
Dan
brother
Savage?
from Malcolm in the Middle.
Max Keeble is pretty crafty, so I think he'd win.
Is he like the 90s generation?
Dennis the Menace?
God.
This isn't meant to be a full-on debate part. We just kind of give examples of fights. So I just want one answer, no explanation.
Max Keeble wins. He's crafty. Are we talking child Dan Savage? Like child star?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Who's
Max Keeble.
Dan Savage?
I know the name. I have no
He's
idea
one of the
who that
Savage
actually
brothers.
is.
He was a child star. He was big on some child show. I know that. Like Facts of
He was
Life or
in-
some shit.
Something called Sex Box.
Nice.
What? Anyway, so in our Fight Club section, we indulge ourselves and talk about who would win in a mythological fight to the death. We will pit this week's subject, the Striga, against one we previously discussed in earlier podcasts, with our lead mythologist defending the Striga, and Valia gets to challenge either myself or Dylan.
Let's challenge Adam since Dylan hasn't been moderator in a while. I think.
Fair enough.
Alright, so since I'm challenged, Dylan's the moderator. Dylan, you get to choose the creature that I defend,
All right.
as well as our setting.
Let's take a look again at what we got here. So, I think I'm just going to pick Hermes right away. I like Hermes against this guy.
Good fight.
Yeah. Let's say this is on top of Mount Rushmore.
The Romanian or American one?
I don't think the Romanian one's called Mount Rushmore.
Pretty sure it's called Mount Rushmore. I've been
The
there.
Americans just ripped it off.
I've studied there. It's definitely
At
Well,
Mount
no, I think
Rushmore?
the Romanian one is the knockoff.
Now, we should probably clarify, this is the Mount Rushmore in Georgia, the state, not the country. So,
got
yeah.
it.
Fight.
All right.
Alright.
I kill.
Alright, that's it.
I mean,
The
I'm
Strigoi.
fighting.
Podcast's over.
I'm fighting Hermes here, so he's kind of immortal.
We decided that chopping off his legs kills him.
But isn't Hermes, like, tough as shit, too? That dude could
Yeah.
not be killed.
Yeah, he's immortal.
Aren't they both immortal?
No,
Basically.
the Striga is not immortal because you can decapitate it or drive a stake in its heart when it's dead.
What is Hermes gonna do, though? Like, he doesn't have any stakes on him.
But he's super fast, so
Do I
you
have
just
to
run
help
and
you?
get one.
He's also mega strong, so he can literally decapitate it or break its neck in a millisecond if he wants.
Didn't you say the Striga was, like, mega strong? Like
It's
the
stronger
toughest
than a
person
human.
ever?
Yeah, compared to a human, I said. Not compared to a god.
Should we pick another creature, for fuck's sake?
Up to you guys.
You called
I gotta be honest. When you were talking about him for, like, the last 5 minutes,
Yeah.
I was totally just finding pictures of, what's his name?
Max Keeble.
Yeah. So I might have missed out on some important information.
So Striga's fighting Max Keeble. All right.
Okay, so this thing it's strong and fast, but by human standards, not God standards.
It's stronger and faster than
So
any
it can-
human.
Man. All right.
So are we sticking with Hermes? Or
I don't
choose
think we
something
can
else?
at this point.
What?
I don't think we can at this point.
We're too far down.
All right.
Let's all right. Let's restart from like here. So, Jesus, this happens a lot with me.
Let's
listening
do a
skills.
game of horse.
So, I don't think the Headless Men have gotten a fair shake. So let's put them up against that.
Okay.
Maybe let's do like 2 Headless Men, 2 or 3 Headless Men. Let's roll for it. These things are kind of weak too, though, huh?
They're not strong.
It's just gonna rip his head off. All right, we'll throw. Let's throw a Hellhound in there too.
3
So-
headless men and a hellhound.
Yeah,
Jeez. All right.
fight.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm taking away a major move for this Striga. The neck break decapitation. You can't do that on these things unless you just twist their whole torso off.
What are you talking about?
Headless men.
No,
They don't have heads.
The Striga can die by neck break.
Oh, see, that's the part I missed.
It doesn't have a specialty in neck breaking.
Well, why not? Now it does. To defend something, you have to know how to do it.
That's fair. That's true. So, how many am I fighting here?
Fighting 3 headless men and a small hellhound.
I can realistically take 1 to 2 headless men.
What are you talking about? These things are wimps.
Aren't they
You just
super
kick them
strong?
in their.
They are. Alexander the Great, captured 30
that's
of them
right, yeah,
by
okay.
himself.
Yeah, you kick them in the eyes and they're done.
Okay, that's right. All right, fine. So first things first, I am going to just sprint right at the first headless man and just annihilate. All right, all force,
How?
all my
How are you gonna
strength.
annihilate him?
He can squeeze
I
like
think-
a skull and break it, the Striga. So I
Okay.
punch the headless man's face, the body, the torso area, until it just dies. And it's super fast, so he can punch like 100,000 times quickly. No.
As that's happening, they already give up that one for dead. It's gonna die. But one of them jumps up and clamps its head down on top of the Striga's head and starts gnawing there. And the other one jumps down to get the leg and starts gnawing on that one to kind of stop him from moving. Meanwhile, the Hellhound is stepping on its back to start it on fire.
Okay.
I think that's how I would handle it.
Thing is, none
If
of
I
those
was
do anything.
3.
Because remember when I told you that the villagers tried to pierce its body and everything? It doesn't do
Right.
shit. So
But if you burn this thing, surely it's gonna be preoccupied with getting burned.
it doesn't really affect it. I mean,
It's just walking around like that
it's an undead
Buddhist
thing.
monk on the cover of that Rage Against the Machine album.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. That's not what that. Yeah, basically, it's walking around with the fire, but fire goes out eventually. But what I'm getting at is, the headless men that are biting it, unless its teeth are made out of silver
Okay.
or sunlight, it's not
I
doing
think
much.
they're made out of sunlight, actually.
They are?
I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
2
I mean,
episodes ago.
It is dusk. You don't have much time.
Alright, new plan. I think that the Hellhound and the dying Headless Man could distract it well enough, while one of the Headless Men clamps down on the head, right?
Okay.
With its mouth.
Yeah.
And the other one grabs that Headless Man's feet and starts running around in circles in an attempt to break the neck.
Okay.
All right. So this was a Max Keeble moment, but did you say anything about stakes affecting it?
You can drive a stake into its heart if it's made out of silver.
The steak has to be made out of silver?
Yeah, it can't just be
What
like
happened
a
to
wood
wood
steak.
steaks?
This one doesn't. It's
Wrong
fine.
vampire.
Jesus. Adam, I was trying to give you the forest advantage here.
The thing is, he kind of has the
I
advantage
take-
of the Hellhound. Like, that thing is mega strong and could annihilate.
That's why I'm thinking it could hold it off, and then after
Yeah.
the 3 headless men die, and you're pretty roughed up, it could probably just jump up, grab the neck, and snap it.
Yeah, I think that would be a loss. That would be pretty typical in this situation, in this scenario.
'Cause you'd be pretty tired out by the time you kill 3 headless
Yeah.
men, especially when one of them's trying to screwdriver your neck.
Yeah. I think that'd be a loss
Those-
I would take.
Who researched Headless Men again? Was that you, Volley?
I did.
They're pretty strong, right?
No.
No?
No. We did a battle of Leprechaun versus Headless Man, and somehow the Headless Man came out barely. Leprechaun's like our weakest creature we have in fights.
I don't think I was there for that episode. I think I was out of town that week.
It's true. You
That
were,
was the horse episode.
you were in Romania researching the
Why was he researching your creature?
just to kind of get a handle on things.
So, I mean, we can end it there, but Volley, you don't have any defense against neck breaks?
No, because
This guy doesn't go to a chiropractor and toughen up his neck a little bit?
does acupuncture.
It's a scam.
Yeah. No, the neck break is pretty much the killing of this creature. Because really, the main competition for it is multiple humans. That's kind of what they're geared to fight, like 1 versus 100 humans or whatever.
This thing can't fly, right?
No,
This is a really weak ass.
It's just really fast.
Vampire.
yeah, putting it
It's
against the
gonna win.
Hellhound alone would have been more than enough for the Hellhound to kill it, because it would have just got a hold of its neck eventually and like ripped it to shreds.
But this thing is like, it could break the Hellhound's neck. I mean,
It's not that. No, it's not that strong. I said stronger than any
And
human.
the Hellhound doesn't die by neck breaks.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Well-
one of its weaknesses.
Where are you getting that neck break thing from?
how much force does it take to break a Hellhound's neck?
A lot
that up
more
real
than this
quick.
thing can exert.
Ask Google that.
Hellhound is like a god creature, remember?
Yeah, kind of like a minion, though.
This thing is meant to fight like headless men and
it
stronger.
could slaughter
slightly
100 headless men.
Yeah.
Well, it's too late for that.
So Striga loses.
I think that streak is done for.
Hey, could have also had it fight your vampire. I just realized.
Yeah, we don't.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, vampire versus vampire.
That's fair.
I think
They
we're
got to
just-
team up in a future episode, though.
That's fair.
Yeah. Fighting, who knows, whatever creatures come out of the woodwork for episode 100.
Just 2 vampires fighting back to back against 100 other creatures. It'll be an epic episode 100.
Either way, I win because I did Hellhound also. Not headless.
Fair enough.
Half a win for me.
I'll
Half
take
a
it.
win, half a loss. Alright, so this week we talked about the Striga. We learned that it's a type of vampire that's pretty strong, pretty fast, but not that strong or that fast. I mean,
Not Max Keeble.
yeah, it's not. It couldn't take Max Keeble, that's for sure. We learned that it's weak against its neck being broken or chopped off, but it needs like some sort of silver, probably a silver stake to the heart would get it. We've heard 100 different ways it could transform into a Striga, and 100 different steps you have to take to stop it from becoming a Striga.
It's 200 for the
And-
of maths and men fans.
I wrote it on the chalkboard.
It's going to be a
Nice.
short episode this week.
200. And we talked to Tale about one of them that terrorized a small town
It smirked
in
a lot.
Croatia.
Jure. He smirks a lot.
Jure.
Gotta roll that off.
Smirker. And we found out that a Striga would not be able to beat 3 headless men and a hellhound. Mostly the hellhound, though, was the issue.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please swing by iTunes to leave a rating and review. They help us stay afloat in a boat that is sinking, but not really, because we're probably not in danger of failing. So we're good, but please still leave a rating and review so we can get better.
Give us
Hashtag
suggestions
Titanic.
for creatures.
Oh yeah, that's a
What?
good one.
give us suggestions for creatures.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We will
ones.
take any 5-star review with a
Wow.
creature suggestion and
Speak for
implement
yourself.
it at some point.
Also, money. We'll take money if you have it and want to give it to me personally.
You can drop it off at a Romanian
Mount
studio.
Rushmore.
It's on top of Romania Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
And you can send us positive vibes on Twitter at Myths and Men. And you can also look us up on Facebook of Myths and Men. And we hope to see you next week when we talk about something else.
You know, I gotta be honest. This can be not included, but you guys should have mentioned something about the fighting the Manananggal. For whatever reason, totally slipped my mind.
You
That would have
totally
been
said
much
you
more
thought about
interesting.
it. The music you heard on this podcast is called Call to Adventure by Kevin MacLeod from Incompetech.com. It is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license.
A tarantula enjoys a fine chewing gum. Snoopy was stabbed by a spear. The garden gnome has a normal-sized penis.